talk about is the drug classification system. Does anyone know the truth about what the drug classifications actually mean? The classes do not define how dangerous a drug is, they do not define how addictive a drug is, nor does it define the strength of a drug. So what do the classes mean if it's not danger, strength or addictiveness? The classes are not defined by science or evidence. They are only defined by the impact it has on society. I grew up believing that Class A drugs were the most deadly and Class C drugs were the least harmful. When I was 15 years old, I was offered ecstasy for the first time, and I said no because of what I was taught at school. The MDMA is a Class A killer drug. It makes you dehydrate, it makes your brain swell, it makes you burn up, and it will make you have a heart attack. But then I watched over 20 of my friends take it. Not one of them was ill, not one of them died. They all had a great night. I can honestly say that I was sat in my friend's flat and thought to myself, why are none of these people dead? Did the school teach me a load of lies? So the next time I was offered ecstasy, I took it. I had a fantastic night. Because I have used ecstasy, a Class A drug, cannabis, a Class B drug, ketamine, a Class C drug, and alcohol, a legal drug, I need to highlight a problem with the classifications. From my own personal experiences using these drugs, in order of strength, ease of overdose, ease of addiction, the worst being 1, they should go in this order. 1. Ketamine. 2. Alcohol. 3. Ecstasy. 4. Cannabis. But our government will keep on giving out misleading information. Please remember, this classification system is based upon 40-year-old opinions, not modern-day evidence or research. They were thought up by the same governments that thought that homosexuals were evil, the same government that thought that ethnic minorities had no rights, and the same governments that thought that smoking was good for your health. We have new, up-to-date scientific evidence now, in 2011, to prove that there are certain illegal drugs which are either equally or less harmful than alcohol and tobacco. So in reality, is this 40-year-old system correct? The answer is a definitive no on every single count, yet our government are refusing to do anything about it. Now I'm going to talk about the actual drug law. How do you define what a crime is? Theft, assault, fraud, speeding. Why are all of these things illegal? It's because they affect someone else. No one chooses to get robbed. No one chooses to be assaulted. Speed limits are set not just to make you, the driver, safe, not just the roads around you safe, but the things on the road too. And the things around the roads, like other people who are innocently walking down the street. People choose to take drugs, the same as people choose to drink alcohol, or choose to race cars, or choose to box. They all harm themselves and risk their lives, but a drug user is the only one punished like a criminal. By the law's eyes, there is no difference between me sitting at home and having a joint of cannabis than going out and punching a stranger in the face. There is no difference between me carrying a knife on the streets or me taking an ecstasy tablet when I go out to a nightclub. So what reasons are the government using for this law? The first thing the government come out with is health. But it's definitely not because of health, and it's certainly not about danger of death, or I would not be able to drink or smoke. What about climbing or other sports? I can climb a 500-foot cliff with no protection. If I fall, I will die or be seriously injured, but it is legal for me to do that. I can jump out of a plane at 5,000 feet, with the risk that the parachute may possibly fail. What about the UFC? It's basically bare-knuckle fighting with almost no rules. Then we have things that you can do to yourself, like tattooing, scarification and body piercing. There is proof that some beds can cause cancer, but again that's legal too. What about obese people? Why are they not prosecuted for harming their bodies? Are they sent to fat camps to lose the weight? Are they banned from eating cakes or high-fat foods? What about people who try to commit suicide? Do we prosecute them for attempted murder? Do we lock them up and call them a criminal? We allow people to undergo cosmetic surgery for no medical reason, with serious risks involved. So how can we possibly justify calling someone a criminal just for using a drug? The government then say drugs are illegal because they fund crime. But look back at alcohol, gambling and prostitution. All were run by gangs, everyone who took part was a criminal, and everyone contributed towards a criminal organisation. So if drugs were legislated, instead of being made by drug gangs, they would be made by licensed businesses. They would be sold by licensed businesses instead of illegal drug dealers. So all of the money would be going back towards the community instead of a criminal organisation. In reality, the only reason that drugs fund crime is because of the legal status. That is not a choice by the drug user. It is a choice of the government. The government then say we can't legalise drugs, we would be condoning drug use. So if the government is saying that if something is legal, they condone it, does that honestly mean that they condone my daughter, sister, mother or grandmother becoming a prostitute? It's legal to drink, so do they condone binge drinking or drink driving? Smoking is legal. They are fully aware of its dangers. But do they condone smoking too? Gambling is legal, so they condone people gambling their life savings away. Of course they don't condone all of these things. All of these things can be bad, but they are controlled by the government. Instead of labelling everyone involved a criminal, they allow people to do these things with control, with rules and with guidelines, and then only punish those who break the rules instead of punishing everyone, and then can offer help and guidance for those who need it. You cannot stop a woman from selling her body for sex, the same reason you cannot stop someone from using drugs. It is personal responsibility. It is personal choice. It is free will. This is not about condoning drug use. It's about making our streets safer. It's about not labelling a drug user a criminal without a crime. It's about proper education and freedom of choice. The government is saying that drugs are illegal to protect people. It provides no protection for drug users, even though the government have full knowledge that there are many contaminated, cut, unpure drugs available. There are no dosage instructions, there are no maximum sales or age limits set. This law did not protect me when I started smoking cannabis at the age of 12. It did not protect me when I had my first line of speed at the age of 13. Nor did it protect me when I was a 15-year-old addict with debts of over £1,000. It did not protect my friend who became addicted to heroin before he was 18 and died before he was 20. It is not protecting people who start using drugs recreationally as children, then as adults become involved in a criminal gang. It is not protecting our troops or police when the drugs sold in the UK are funding the criminal gangs to buy weapons and bribes. The government say that crime doesn't pay. Unfortunately, when it comes to drugs, it does. It is a billion-pound industry. That is why there are so many drug gangs running throughout the world. And because of this, innocent members of public are then put at risk. So it no longer protects innocent non-drug users. With this prohibition law, all it is creating is criminals with no crime and a country run by Al Capone-style gangs. They own the customs, the army, the police, the media and the government. They are the people who truly want everything kept illegal, because they are the only ones profiting from it, and they are prepared to pay to keep it that way. The Home Office are trying to stop drug use. Drugs are used for their effects, because they are enjoyable, not because they are illegal. Alcohol makes me violent. Cannabis doesn't. Is the government honestly saying they would rather I use the drug that puts other people at risk instead of only risking myself? The question that the Home Office needs to ask itself: did the ban on alcohol stop people from drinking? Did the ban on gambling stop people from gambling? And did the ban on prostitution stop women from becoming prostitutes? No is the answer to all of those questions. So how do you expect to control drug use? You can't.